As you heard the whole "I don't know" from Scaramucci and support from Huckabee Sanders. Let's talk to Tara Palmeri, CNN political analyst and White House correspondent for Politico. So Tara, if you look at this both ways, both options not so great from the president's perspective. Walk me through what happens if he signs or vetoes this legislation.
There's a possibility that President Trump could add a signing note to the bill. He can sign it and then say, that he doesn't actually agree with the sanctions. President Obama has used that in the past. I think what you saw on the Sunday shows is the fact that there wasn't really a coordination of the messaging, likely because, as Scaramucci said, he's still new on the job. But I think, that's a lesson learned that when you do represent the White House, you have to know affirmatively every single position that the president has. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times that Donald Trump isn't quite sure what his position is yet. And, some White House aides tell me that, there's sort of a method to the confusion, and that he doesn't want to show his cards, that he may sign the bill, he may not, but by keeping it, ambiguous. Yeah, exactly. He's still maintaining some sort of relationship with Russia and in a way able to do what he promised, which is to reset the relationship between the two countries.
So what about the question of, generally you have the comms director's direct report would be, the chief of staff, who would be Reince Priebus, and then his boss, obviously, the president. And that didn't seem entirely clear when he was, speaking to those White House reporters on Friday. And you have all this great reporting on how Reince Priebus is feeling now with Scaramucci coming in and how he may feel pretty sidelined.
Reince Priebus vehemently opposed bringing on Anthony Scaramucci. Anthony was actually up for the job of Director of Public Liaison, and it was pulled from him because of some issues with the sale of his business, but it's really within, circles in the White House. It's understood that it was really because Priebus didn't want him in the White House. He's got a great relationship with the children, Trump's children, and Trump really likes him and admires him. And you have to know one thing about Trump. He really admires men who had success in business. He's not really as enamored by political, political operatives or establishment
types.
Even
at the head of the RNC, as Reince was?
Well, from what I've been told, Trump values, monetary success over things like that. So he's creating, a possible other cook in the kitchen by bringing in Scaramucci. Trump gets along with him. They're both New Yorkers. But Reince really was sidelined because, as one close advisor to the president told me, he doesn't really have personal clout inside of the White House, but he has organizational clout. He has an entire team that he brought in from the RNC, but he's already lost his deputy chief of staff, Katie Walsh, who was fired after the first health care bill did not make it to the floor. He lost Mike Dupke, who he brought on as communications director, and most recently he lost one of his most high-profile aides underneath him, who's very closely aligned with him, Sean Spicer, the press secretary. And so there are a lot of other RNC aides in the press shop, and their fate is still to be determined. They've been sort of known for defending Priebus more than other, members of the administration or even sometimes the president. So their fate is still, questionable at this point. And this is going to be, a real loss for Priebus because he needed that silo to really keep his strength in the White House, and all the other members of the senior staff have their own people underneath them that prop them up.
It's a big deal. Your reporting is significant. Just keep your ear to the ground for us, will you, on the Reince Priebus, Anthony Scaramucci, their futures within these close circles in the White House. Tara, thank you so much. Tara Palmeri for me in Arlington, Virginia. We do have more on our breaking news today. Jared Kushner speaking out after his meeting with Senate investigators today, someone we rarely hear from publicly. The president's son-in-law not under oath today during that questioning. And so we're asking, well, why not? And what does that mean for him legally? Those details ahead.